If you hear your name in the dark, don't answer. Here's why. Have you ever heard your name when you were all alone? In the middle of the night, you suddenly become alert. Your eyes open wide and you start listening intently. When you are not expecting anyone to be around, hearing your name can be quite terrifying. Is someone at home? Is there someone at the door? Or is it just your imagination playing tricks on you? When this happens, many people tend to answer to see who is there. However, according to experts, you should never respond if you hear your name when you are alone in the dark. This is because the spirits may try to trick you into answering. If they get a response from you, they will know that you are present and could try to interact with you further. In today's video, we will discuss what happens when you answer if you hear your name while you are alone in the dark. But before we proceed, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new updates. Let's jump into the video. Hearing voices when you are alone is a common experience that can happen to anyone. And some of these voices can be so realistic that you might think you are not alone. While these sounds can be unsettling and even frightening, they are usually harmless. However, there are certain instances where you should be careful when responding to voices you hear. For instance, when you hear your name being called in the dark and no one is around, hearing your name being called when you are alone in the dark could be a sign of something more sinister. It could be a way for evil spirits or entities to try to communicate with you or even harm you. Before we continue, we would like to ask you to please take some time to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for getting notifications of all the videos we come up with. By doing so, you will get to watch similar interesting videos and also help us grow our channel. So without any further delay, let's move forward in the video. There are many reasons why you might hear your name being called when you are alone in the dark. One possibility is that your mind is playing tricks on you. This can happen when you are extremely tired, stressed, or anxious. Your brain can start to hallucinate and make you hear things that are not really there. Another explanation is that there could be a rational explanation for the sound you heard. For example, it could have been the sound of your own voice or someone else's voice coming through a window or wall. It could also be the sound of wind, trees, or other natural noises that your brain interpreted as your name being called. However, there is another explanation that is a little more sinister. Some people believe that when you hear your name being called when you are alone in the dark, it is a sign that a spirit or entity is trying to contact you. This can be a good or bad thing depending on the intentions of the entity. According to experts, you should never respond if you hear your name while you are alone in the dark. This is because the spirits may try to trick you into answering. If they get a response from you, they will know that you are present and could try to interact with you further. This could lead to dangerous situations, such as being possessed by an evil spirit or having your energy drained by a malevolent entity. So what should you do if you hear your name being called when you are alone in the dark? The first thing you should do is try to remain calm. It can be easy to panic, but it's important to stay calm and rational in order to assess the situation properly. Once you have calmed down, try to identify the source of the voice. It may be helpful to use a flashlight to look around the room and listen carefully to try and pinpoint where the voice is coming from. If you are unable to find the source of the voice, it is best to simply ignore it and go about your day. Do not try to investigate further, as this could put you at risk of interacting with a harmful entity. However, if you are able to identify the source of the voice, and it is something other than a person or animal, you should take some precautions before responding. First, make sure that the area is safe. If you feel that there is any danger present, such as a weapon or hazardous material, you should remove yourself from the situation immediately. Next, you should try to bless the area. This can be done in a number of ways, such as by using holy water or making the sign of the cross. This is important because it helps to protect you from any potential harm that the entity may cause. Finally, when you respond, you should do so cautiously. Try to keep your tone of voice firm and confident and avoid any sudden movements. This will help to prevent the entity from gaining control over you. Here are some things that you can say when you hear your name being called, when you are alone in the dark. Leave me alone, or get away from me. These phrases are simple but effective and will clearly communicate that you do not want to interact with the entity. You can also use more powerful phrases such as "I am protected by the blood of Jesus," or "I am under the protection of God." These phrases are particularly effective if you are a Christian and will help to remind you of your faith and strength. If the entity persists in trying to contact you, you can also try using a command such as "Leave this place now," or "I command you to leave." These phrases are more forceful and should help to make the entity go away. Ignoring the voice is often the best course of action when you hear your name being called when you are alone in the dark. This is because it demonstrates that you are not afraid and are not willing to interact with the entity. It also sends a message that you are in control of the situation and will not be intimidated. Additionally, ignoring the voice can be an effective way to break the connection between you and the entity. By not responding, you are cutting off any opportunity for the entity to gain access to your thoughts, emotions, and energy. However, there are some cases where responding to the voice may be necessary. If the voice is persistent and will not stop calling your name, it may be necessary to respond in order to stop the disturbance. In this case, it is important to remember the precautions mentioned earlier, such as ensuring your safety and protecting yourself with religious symbols or phrases. Responding with a firm and confident tone of voice can also be helpful in asserting dominance over the situation. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to respond to the voice is a personal one. There's no right or wrong answer, and the best course of action will vary depending on the individual and the circumstances. However, it is important to remember that if you do choose to respond, you should do so cautiously and with the proper precautions in place. We hope that this video has provided you with some insight on what to do. When you hear your name being called, when you are alone in the dark, remember to stay calm, identify the source of the voice, take necessary precautions, and respond with confidence if needed. We would love to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comments below. Have you ever experienced hearing your name being called when you are alone in the dark? What did you do in that situation? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Until next time.